Welcome, I'm so happy you're here to learn more about photo editing. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to fix glasses glare and closed eyes. And I'm going to be teaching you if you do have extra photos and how that can help you, but for the most part I know that most of the time you don't have an extra photo, so I'll also be showing you how to do with that. Okay, first up, the glasses glare. This day is a cloudy day, but it still happens, so let's see what we can do. I do have an extra photo, but even with extra photos, there is still some left. So first I'm going to be showing you what to do with that. I've already copied and pasted it from the other photo, and if you don't know how to do that, you just go to any selection tool, which are going to be these three. So you can do the lasso tool, like any of these. This one is pretty nice. Go over to object selection tool, quick selection tool, and make sure you are on the correct layer, select, and then I just do copy and paste, Control C, Control V, or Command if you're using a MacBook or something. And then if you do Control T, you can move that around like a layer. So you can literally go onto another photo, Control V, just click OK, that doesn't matter. And here you have the other photo. Once you have that pasted on, and you can, when you Control T, it gives you options to move it around and change the size. If you can't remember shortcuts, sorry, I always use shortcuts, is you go over to Edit and go over to Free Transform. So always under Edit, if you can remember that. We have this face and it's fairly the right size, and then we're going to hover over it, and then I'm going to go over to the layer and change the opacity, just so you can kind of see the eyes. I'm just going to match it up as best as possible. So maybe just a little bit bigger. The lighting is on the opposite side, so I'm going to go again to Free Transform, then I'm going to flip it horizontally. I think that's actually what I did last time. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, because I think he was on the other side of the photo. So sometimes you have to do that, and I think it looks the same. Bigger. Nice. Then yeah, let's just go and erase that. And your eraser is over here. Luckily the icons kind of resemble what you're doing. And if you want to change the hardness of it, just right click and you can change it. That way it's like softer. So just mess around with that. Because really I'm just looking to get the eye part. Alright, so yeah, his nose does look a little bit different. Just move it over. Cool. Actually, I like it like that. Okay. Anyway, you get the point. So it doesn't have to be perfect too, because I mean, if you're looking at it far away, you can't really tell. So if you're just trying to like get it on there, you can really just copy, paste, erase, and then you're done. If you want to go even further, like how there's still these glasses, I like to paste it on to the layer below, and I always like to have like an extra layer just in case. We can go ahead and delete that one. No, it's not important. I just, from my experience, I hate losing stuff, and so I always make double layers just in case I need to go back. So now that's one full layer, and that way we can use like some AI tools like this remove tool, which is one of my favorites, because I feel like when it's on a layer, it kind of gets a little wonky. If that makes, like, see how this is already slow? It just helps it go faster. So did that? Okay, yeah, that did do something. So you can just go ahead and clean it up, just like that. If it doesn't really do what you want, you can go over to the stamp tool, which does it exactly, and you alt click. That's how you like get your stamp. So I'm alt click, that's your stamp, and then you can stamp click somewhere else. So if we're gonna give it a third eye, that's what it would do. But that's not what we're doing. So click stamp or alt stamp, and then you can kind of like hover, go over to clone source. This will adjust the angle of it and just kind of fill it in a little bit, just so it kind of gives you less to work with. I feel like the remove tool works best in smaller sections. So if you have a really big section, make it smaller and then try again. So you can always Control Z to kind of look back at what you're doing. So right, this is pretty good. Oops, whatever, that worked. All right, awesome. So you can see the before, or I guess with this, before, after. Awesome. And with this, let's see, this one's a little bit bigger. You could honestly do two things. One, you could take this eye, so make a selection, Control C, Control V, copy and paste, Control T or free transform, and then I'm going to flip it horizontally. And I'm going to move it over. So, because eyes are usually pretty symmetrical, and that's about, wow, this is actually perfect. Sometimes it doesn't work if they're not looking straight forward, so I totally get that. But this one works really well. So we're just going to erase a little bit. Voila. You have that, and maybe just a little bit more over. Right, you can just perfect it how you want it, and then I just like to create the layer, and that way these white lines, they're like nowhere near the eyeball, and so removing them or clone stamping them is going to make it a lot easier. Waiting. So let's try, you can either just remove this with the remove tool, or let's try doing generate a fill and see how that works. I do like generate a fill, but for a lot of my clients, I don't particularly like it just because it can make it super blurry. And see, this one, it doesn't really do it well because really it says eyebrow going in, but technically you could just play around with it and like if that's what you like, and then maybe remove that. But this again, I'd probably take this eyebrow and move it over here. And just like match it up however you can. Perfect. And then just to get rid of the harsh lines, I'll just take our eraser and erase it. Perfect. Right, so now all you got is a few, maybe erase just a little bit so it's not completely exact, because I feel like eyebrows aren't really symmetrical. And then remove. Bum, bum, bum. See, that kind of looks a little messy. And then maybe you can do, let's go back to the stamp tool or clone stamp tool. And I feel like it's this part of his eye that I need. You could stamp it and then you can flip it. And so instead of making like a whole new layer, you can kind of just mess around with that. Awesome. And let's just look at the before. Cool, so I think maybe I'll want to get rid of this guy too. So like I said, it really, really goes a long way if you have at least one eye showing, even if it's just from like another photo. Even if there's different lighting, right, you can flip it. It's going to save you because now his glasses are completely see-through, right? If you don't have it, a lot of it is going to be AI. Let's just try going to filter and NeuroFilters. Okay, so I'm going to go over to Smart Portrait, and you're going to choose the person that you want. Eyes. So here you have, oh, glare removal. I think that's new. So let's see how this does. I've actually never used this before, so let's see. And it didn't do too much. Okay, that helped a little bit. That could definitely save us a lot of time. I feel like it's trying to get his color right, but I'm pretty sure his eyes are blue. Let's check. Oh, they're brown. Okay, perfect. So we have that, which got rid of it pretty well. So from here, I would just clean it up, because when you're using AI, it's gonna pull from the other parts of the photo. So if there's like a bunch of these little parts everywhere, and you're gonna use generative fill, it's gonna pull from that. Maybe that's a little bit dark. So I'm just cleaning it up. And I think that's pretty much about what I can do. Now for like the eyeballs, which are most the important part, because even far away it still looks a little bit off. And if I'm not wrong, this is the mother, so sometimes I'll look at the family members if they have similar eyes. I'll take it from them. So what we can do, let's just see what generative fill does. Brown eyes. Sometimes I like to see what it does without writing anything, but I do really want them to be brown, so let's see. So they definitely look a little creepy. This one is probably the best, but it still doesn't like follow the eye shape. So what I would do is just like go in and erase where the eyelids are. And you can adjust this layer however you please. Right, so really this one is kind of like lopsided. Just gonna make 2 layers. So maybe like change this. Erase that eyeball. You're just gonna mess around until you get what you like, basically. We already have the whites of his eyes, so technically we just need the color. And do the same for the other eye. Eraser. I like to just click E. Erase, erase, erase. And of course the color is still a little bit off. And they do have a little bit of shine, but it's not blue, it's white. So we're gonna go over to the color replacement tool and make sure you're on the layer. So I'm just gonna change this to not blue. Perfect. Oops. I guess it's this eye. Brush. Ooh. Cool. Alright, I'm just gonna connect those layers so that they're together, and then if you want to change the color of it, and if you don't like the color of it, you can go over to the color adjustment brush and go over here and you can kind of choose which one you want. So I'm going to do hue saturation, kind of color it, and obviously it kind of does this automatically, but you want it to be less colorful, maybe a little bit darker. And then if you want to change it, you just click the brush, and since this layer is black, you want to paint it with white to kind of, or wait, maybe black, just kidding. See how that kind of erases it? So it's just on the eyes. So again, it's not as good as the one with the picture, but you have that, and then again, I would just clean this up with the remove tool or generative fill, or using other parts of the photo that don't have the glares. And there you have it. So the new photo, opening eyes. So basically the same thing we're going to do here. If you have an extra photo, I would just do the exact same steps I did with the glasses glare, because it's just an extra photo, their eyes are open. It's going to help if maybe even one of the eyes are open. If they have a sister or a family member with similar eyes, that can help, but this one, we don't. So her eyes are closed, and she wants them open. So this is the final, right? So I didn't have any reference photo of this. So this one, what I had to do is either use generative fill or neurofilters. Go over to filter, neurofilters, and then go over to smart portrait. If you don't have it downloaded, just hit download. It may take a little bit, but so then make sure you're on the correct person if there are multiple people. And then the eyes. So this is fairly new, but you can do eye openness. Let's just see if this turns out. AI can be a little finicky, so it's kind of based on luck. So this one did not do very well. Her eyes are completely closed. This more helps if you're like halfway blinking. It can really help, but this does not really help me at all. So we're just gonna cancel it. If it works for your photo, that's great. I'm just gonna start with one eye, and let's just see what generative fill does. And I like to leave it to just open-ended just to see what it comes up with. You can type in what you want, but sometimes it kind of gets the gist, and sometimes it doesn't. So obviously we don't want to completely get rid of her eye, so open eye. So AI does make it look a little cakey. Sometimes I wish it matched the photo more of like what it is. Like this just looks like an AI photo, if you know what I'm saying. But it does get pretty good, because she did tell me her eyes are brown, so we're gonna work with that. And then let's do this photo, or this eye. Open eye. Oof. Doesn't look too good. Okay, so you could try generating again, maybe making a better selection. Maybe something like that. Let's just try one more time and pray that it works. It is not getting that the eye is on the opposite side. It's like a side view, so this is what we're gonna have to do. So you have this eye, and it matched the shape pretty well, I would say. I almost think the eye should be bigger, and you can actually change this. Just go over to Control T again, and then just make it like a little bit wider. If you don't want to make the whole thing bigger, you can also, you have to rasterize the layer. So distort, and maybe make it a little bit longer. Okay, I feel like that's a lot better. And then her eye thing is more upturned than what they have here. So what you're gonna go to do is make sure you're not clicked on it. Like make sure if you're on Control T, you just hit enter. Otherwise this isn't gonna work. So go over to edit, puppet warp. And this will allow you to edit it basically however you want. So this is like an anchor, because I like how this is set, but I do not like this. So you can kind of move it up a little bit. Kind of helps. Yeah, a lot better. And then it's a little funky right here, so maybe erase it. perfect. You got an open eye. And if you want to change the saturation, because it does look a little much, just go over to the adjustment brush, turn down that saturation, and that looks just a little bit better. And this is kind of bothering me, so I'm just gonna remove it, because I feel like now I can actually like see the closed-eyed, open eyes kind of thing. First, I'm gonna go to my selection and select these glasses so I don't have to keep erasing over and over again. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but double click to rename glasses. Alright, now we can actually see what this would look like. So technically the eye thing, I can't even remember what it's called, is covered, so we don't even need that. So I'm actually going to flip the eye back over, because flipped over actually makes the eye look like it's looking at me. So I'm just going to adjust this and then erase. So see, a little better. Her eyelashes look a little weird because they're turned down, but the eye is now opened. And I'm going to connect that to this layer, and then this is when you can use AI. Maybe, so I want to get rid of that. And I want some eyelashes here, but let's just give it a test to see what it does. So it did not give me what I was looking for. Lots of eyelashes. So eyelashes are kind of hard to generate, so it's kind of annoying. I feel like they should be out more. Basically, you're just going to be like recreating the eyeball just until it looks better. And then go in and erase it, make it all nice and pretty. And then I would again do that again for the bottom eyelashes. But okay, so yeah, looking at that, it looks actually a little bit too big. See, this is why I should have made another layer, because now I gotta go back and make it bigger. If you're looking at the original, her eyes are finally open, they're brown, looks legit. All you have to do is fix the other side by doing the eyelashes and just basically matching up how you like your eyelashes, if you like them really long, short, whatever. If you want to adjust this even more, if you didn't already see this when I went in there, filter, Neuro filters, you could also go in and move the eye direction. So right moves them to the right, left moves them to the left, and kind of wait. This might look a little funky because we've already manipulated the eyeballs, but if you want to do that on a different photo, see, this one didn't really do anything, so, which, I guess this eye isn't connected, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so I would make sure that they're all connected, make it turn out better. But anyway, so that's the original, and this is for spending a lot of time on it and using a photo that she sent me of her eyes, so this is like a little bit better. I do like how the eye thing is more inward. This one is, now that I'm looking at, a little bit small and a little bit just plastic on there, but again, it's a lot of playing around with, you know what their eyes look like, drawing the shape, using the other eye, using all of that. So this is what we got.